I was almost kidnapped in front of my parents by Super Sneaky Kitty 3. This was back in the November of 2018 and takes place in North Carolina. I was 14 at the time. My family and I had just moved across states. We just got into the city where we planned on living after a long road trip. We were all hungry, so we decided to go grab dinner before we went to pick up the keys to our new house. We went to this local pizza shop. Since we had our dogs with us, because we hadn't moved into our house yet, we decided to eat in the car. I'm a pretty fast eater compared to the rest of my family, so I finished way before them. After I was done, I decided to bring my puppy out to do her business. We were standing just a little ways up from the car, playing in the leaves on the ground. I grew up in Florida, so I wasn't used to seeing piles of autumn leaves. So I was just living my best life, not paying attention to my surroundings, when a man taps on my shoulder. My dog notices him and immediately tries to jump on him, as she does with anyone, so I pull her back while I'm backing away from him. He looks to be in his mid-40s to 50s. He smiles creepily at me, like it was forced. He says in his scruffy southern voice,
"You have my dog, my border collie."
Immediately, a red flag goes off in my mind, as my dog looks very obviously like a boxer, nothing like a border collie. Now let me tell you, I'm horrible at confrontation, so I just nervously say, I think you're mistaken, sir. This is my dog." Not even telling him how my dog does not look anything like what he's describing. I look over to my parents' car that was just a couple of feet ahead of me, unsure of what to do. They hadn't even noticed the man approach me. They were on their phones. The man now asks me,
"Well, would you be able to come help me look for my dog?"
I can feel my stomach drop in that moment. I still don't want to make a scene, as I'm probably overreacting. But I have read my fair share of kidnapping and sex trafficking horror stories, so I have an idea in the back of my mind what's going on. He then says something along the lines of,
"I have some money in my truck for you."
if I went with him. My hands are sweating at this point. This is something straight out of a Reddit thread. He points over to a very sketchy, run-down looking truck. I tell him I'm busy and have to go, but best of luck finding his dog. Still trying to keep him on my good side. Looking back on it now, I don't know why I didn't tell him my parents were right there. If I would have, I think he would have backed off. I overly worry about what others might think, so I was just trying to be polite and not make him mad. He then decides to grab my dog's leash and say he had dog treats at his truck and starts to walk away with my dog. I pull the leash away from him and say sternly, I have to go now. As I start walking away, he then grabs my wrist and rips the leash out of my hands, throwing it to the ground. He starts pulling me with him, mumbling something like,
"Just come see what I have for you."
My dog, the sweetest good girl she is, follows after us and starts barking, while he starts to drag me with him. I'm pretty small, 5'4", and have no upper body strength, so I just start screaming to let go of me. My parents, alarmed, hearing me scream and our dog chasing after me barking, see this man pulling their daughter against her will. They immediately start sprinting after me. I start screaming, "Mom! Dad!" I think he got alarmed when he heard me yell out "Mom," and she starts running towards us. The sudden realization that my parents were right there in their car the whole time, he makes a run for it, and we didn't run after him. My parents were just glad they had me. This is definitely not a good way to start off our new life in North Carolina. Not even have lived there a day yet. I do not wish for this to ever happen to anyone, as it was terrifying. But my advice for you is, don't be afraid to use your words, even if they offend the person. then is not the time to worry about what others think.